There is a version of you that wakes up early, works hard, stays consistent, and builds the life you actually want. That version exists. It is real, but something is killing it, quietly, every single day. And the most terrifying part is that you are the one doing it, without knowing it, without meaning to. By the time this video is over, you will see exactly what is happening inside your mind, and you will never be able to unsee it. Let me ask you something, and I want you to be completely honest with yourself. How many times have you said you were going to change? How many Monday mornings have you declared a fresh start? How many January 1sts have you made promises to yourself that dissolved before February even arrived? And here is the real question. Why does that keep happening? Not because you are weak, not because you are broken, but because nobody ever taught you how your mind actually works. You were taught math, you were taught history, you were taught how to follow rules and sit in a chair and raise your hand before you speak. But nobody sat you down and explained the psychological forces that govern every decision you make, every habit you have, every pattern you repeat, the way your brain processes fear, the way it responds to failure, the way it clings to comfort, even when comfort is destroying you. That is the education that actually matters, and you are getting it right now. So pay attention, because what I am about to walk you through is not theory. It is the operating manual for your own mind that nobody ever gave you. Let us start at the very foundation. Your brain has 3 layers, and understanding these layers will explain everything about why you behave the way you do. The deepest layer is the reptilian brain. This is the oldest part of your brain evolutionarily. It controls your basic survival instincts, breathing, heart rate, fight or flight response. The reptilian brain does not think. It reacts. It is fast. It is powerful. And it is running in the background every moment of your life. The second layer is the limbic system. This is your emotional brain. It processes feelings. It stores emotional memories. It is the part of you that feels fear when something is unfamiliar. It is the part that lights up when you feel love or excitement or joy. And then the third layer is the neocortex. This is your rational brain, your thinking brain, the part that sets goals and makes plans and knows that eating junk food is bad for you and staying up until 2 in the morning scrolling through your phone is not a good idea. Now here is the critical thing you need to understand. These 3 layers do not always work together. In fact, they are often in direct conflict. Your rational brain knows exactly what you should do, but your emotional brain and your reptilian brain frequently overrule it, and they almost always win because they are faster, stronger, and older. Your logic is not in charge of your behavior as much as you think it is. Your feelings are. This brings us to one of the most important concepts in all of psychology: cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is the mental discomfort you experience when your actions do not match your beliefs. You believe you are a hard worker, but you keep procrastinating. You believe you care about your health, but you keep eating poorly. You believe you want to change, but you keep choosing comfort. And that gap between what you believe and what you do creates psychological tension, real tension, the kind that makes you feel guilty and frustrated and confused about who you actually are. Now here is the dark part. Your brain cannot tolerate cognitive dissonance for long. It finds it extremely uncomfortable, so it does one of 2 things to resolve the tension. Either you change your behavior to match your beliefs, which is the hard option, or you change your beliefs to match your behavior, which is the easy option. And your brain almost always chooses the easy option. So instead of actually working harder, you start to believe that hard work is overrated. Instead of eating better, you start to believe that health obsession is unnecessary. Instead of building something, you start to believe that ambition is toxic. You rationalize, you justify.
Inquisitive. Create a story that makes your current behavior acceptable, and you believe that story completely. This is not weakness. This is your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do: protect you from discomfort, even when that protection is slowly ruining your life. Now I want to talk about something that lives at the intersection of psychology and manipulation, because understanding how your mind can be used against you is just as important as understanding how to use it for yourself. There is a concept called social proof, and it is one of the most powerful psychological forces in human behavior. Social proof is the tendency to look at what other people are doing to determine what is correct behavior. If everyone around you is sedentary, your brain registers sedentary as normal. If everyone around you is complaining about their life without doing anything about it, your brain registers that as normal too. If everyone around you is consuming endlessly and producing nothing, your brain says this is just how people live. Now multiply this by social media. Suddenly, you are surrounded not just by your immediate circle, but by millions of people curating specific images of their lives for you to consume. And here is what social media is actually showing you. It is showing you the highlight reel of people who are performing happiness, success, and fulfillment. But it is also, and this is the part that nobody talks about, it is also normalizing the worst behaviors, the endless scrolling, the outrage, the comparison, the shallow consumption, the attention-seeking. You are being conditioned every single day by what you expose yourself to. And if you are not intentional about what you consume, the world will decide for you. And the world has a vested interest in keeping you passive, distracted, and easy to sell to. Let me tell you about something psychologists call the spotlight effect. Human beings have a natural tendency to believe that other people are paying far more attention to us than they actually are. You think people noticed when you stumbled over your words in that meeting. You think people remember the embarrassing thing you did 3 years ago. You think people are watching you, judging you, evaluating your every move. They are not. People are far too consumed with their own internal world to spend significant time thinking about yours. But the spotlight effect has a devastating consequence. It creates a fear of visibility, a fear of being seen trying. Because if you try and fail in public, everyone will see it. Except they will not. Not really. Not in the way your brain imagines. But that fear, that imaginary spotlight, stops people from starting businesses, from speaking up, from creating things, from pursuing the life they actually want. You are sitting on your potential because you are afraid of an audience that is not even watching. Think about how many times you did not do something because of what other people might think. And then think about the fact that those people are sitting in the exact same prison, paralyzed by the exact same fear of what you might think about them. We are a species of people terrifying each other into mediocrity. Now let us talk about something that runs even deeper than fear. Let us talk about your self-concept. Your self-concept is the story you tell yourself about who you are, and it is built from thousands of small experiences, moments, and messages you received throughout your life. A teacher who told you that you were not academic, a parent who said you were the difficult child, a friend who laughed at your idea, a failure that you interpreted as proof that you were not capable. Each of these moments left a mark, not on your body, but on your story. And here is how powerful that story is. Your brain will do everything in its power to maintain consistency with your self-concept. If you see yourself as someone who always fails, your brain will sabotage your efforts to succeed, because success would contradict the story. If you see yourself as someone who is not creative, your brain will block creative ideas from rising to the surface, because creativity would contradict the story. If you see yourself as someone who is unlucky, your brain will filter your reality to find evidence that confirms your bad luck and ignore evidence that contradicts it. Psychologists call this
inquisitive confirmation bias. Your brain is not looking for the truth. It is looking for evidence that confirms what it already believes about the world, about other people, and most importantly, about you. The most dangerous prison you will ever be locked in is the story you tell yourself about yourself, and the key has been in your hand this whole time. I want to pause here and say something that I think is important. Everything I am telling you can sound bleak. It can sound like you are fighting an impossible battle against your own biology, against society, against your past. But I want you to reframe this. Every single thing I have described, learned helplessness, cognitive dissonance, confirmation bias, the spotlight effect, social contagion, these are not character flaws. They are features of a brain that was built for a different world. A world where staying close to the tribe meant survival, where conserving energy was essential, where avoiding the unknown was wise. These systems kept your ancestors alive. The problem is your brain has not received the update that tells it you are not living in that world anymore. You are living in a world where the most dangerous thing is not the predator outside your cave. It is the comfort inside it,
the Netflix, the delivery food, the infinite scroll, the ability to meet all your basic needs without any effort whatsoever. Your brain interprets that ease as success, but it is actually a trap. And the first step to escaping any trap is knowing you are in one. You now know you are in one. That is power, real power. Let us talk about discipline, because I think it is the most misunderstood concept in personal development. Most people treat discipline like it is a finite resource, like a battery that runs out. They say things like, I just do not have the willpower. I run out of motivation by the afternoon. I'm good all week, and then the weekend destroys all my progress. And this is partially true. There is actually research by Roy Baumeister on something called ego depletion, the idea that willpower is like a muscle that gets tired. The more decisions you make, the more you resist temptation, the more willpower you use up. By the end of the day, your ability to make good decisions is genuinely impaired. This is why you eat better in the morning than at night. This is why you are more likely to procrastinate at 4 in the afternoon than at 9 in the morning. Your decision-making capacity has been used up. But here is what the misunderstanding leads to. People use this as an excuse to not even try, when the real solution is to remove the need for willpower in the first place. Willpower is what you use when your environment is fighting against you. Discipline is about designing an environment where the right behavior is the easy behavior. If your phone is in the other room, you don't need willpower to not look at it. If there's no junk food in your house, you don't need willpower to not eat it. If your gym clothes are laid out the night before, you don't need willpower to get ready to exercise. Stop fighting your environment. Change it. Now I want to get into something that most people in this conversation never address, the psychology of pain avoidance and how it shapes everything you do. There is a principle in behavioral economics called loss aversion. Research by Daniel Kahneman showed that the pain of losing something is psychologically about twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining something. What this means practically is that the fear of losing what you have is always stronger than the desire to gain what you want. You stay in a job you hate because the fear of losing your income is stronger than the excitement of the career you actually want. You stay in a relationship that is not right because the fear of being alone is stronger than the possibility of finding something real. You stay exactly where you are because the fear of losing your current comfort, your current identity, your current safety is stronger than the pull of everything you dream about. This is not weakness. This is math. Your brain is running a calculation, and the calculation is biased toward loss avoidance. But here is the thing about the
Inquisitive. Calculation that changes everything. It does not account for the long-term cost of staying still. It does not factor in what you lose by never trying. It does not calculate the price of watching your potential expire. When you reframe the calculation, when you start measuring the cost of not changing against the cost of changing, suddenly the math looks very different. The question is not, what do I risk by changing? The question is, what do I guarantee by staying the same? I want to talk about comparison now, because it is one of the most psychologically destructive forces operating in your life. There is a reason Theodore Roosevelt said comparison is the thief of joy. Not because it is a nice thing to say, because it is neurologically accurate. When you compare yourself to others, your brain immediately does one of two things. If you compare downward, looking at people doing worse than you feel a temporary sense of superiority, which provides no actual motivation to grow. If you compare upward, looking at people doing better than you feel inadequate, behind, and overwhelmed, which also provides no actual motivation to grow. Both directions of comparison pull you away from the only comparison that actually matters, who you were yesterday versus who you are today. Your progress is not visible when you are looking sideways. It is only visible when you look backward at where you started. The person you should be competing with is the version of you from 6 months ago. Are you smarter? Are you stronger? Are you more disciplined? Are you more self-aware? That is the only scoreboard that matters. And here's the beautiful thing about competing with your past self. You can always win, because you already know all of your weaknesses. You know exactly where to apply effort. You know exactly what needs to change. You do not have access to that information about anyone else. Their success is not your instruction manual. Your own journey is. Let me introduce you to a psychological concept called the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset. This research was done by Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck, and it fundamentally changed how we understand human potential. A fixed mindset believes that your qualities are carved in stone. You are either smart or you are not. You are either talented or you are not. You either have what it takes or you do not. If you have a fixed mindset, every challenge is a threat. Because if you try and fail, it proves that you do not have what it takes. So you avoid challenges. You stick to things you are already good at. You never push beyond your comfort zone, because your comfort zone is the only place you feel safe showing your abilities. A growth mindset believes something radically different. It believes that your qualities can be developed through dedication and hard work, that your brain is not fixed, that intelligence, talent, and ability are not destinations, they are directions. People with a growth mindset seek out challenges because challenges are opportunities to grow. They view failure not as evidence of their limitations, but as information about what to do differently next time. Now here is what is critical. Your mindset is not fixed. Even if you have had a fixed mindset your entire life, you can change it. Every time you catch yourself saying, "I cannot do this," and you replace it with, "I cannot do this yet," you are rewiring your brain. It sounds small. It is not. That one word, yet, is the difference between a door that is closed and a door that is open. Let me now give you the most practical framework I can offer, because information without application is just entertainment. And I already told you in the last video, or maybe this is your first time, that consuming information and feeling good about it is one of the most sophisticated forms of procrastination that exists. So here is what you actually do. First, audit your inputs. For 1 week, write down every single thing you consume. Every video, every social media scroll, every conversation, every piece of content. At the end of the week, look at the list and ask yourself honestly, is this making me smarter? Is this making me more capable? Is this moving me toward the life I want? Or is this just filling a quiet moment? Most people have never done this.
Most people have no idea what they are actually feeding their mind every day. But your mind becomes what you feed it, just as surely as your body becomes what you eat. Second, define who you are becoming. Not who you want to be, who you are becoming. Right now, present tense. Write a paragraph describing the person you are in the process of becoming. What do they do in the morning? What do they eat? How do they spend their evenings? How do they respond to setbacks? How do they treat other people? Read this paragraph every morning, not because it is magic, but because it keeps your identity visible, and behavior follows identity. Third, create one non-negotiable daily action, one thing that you do every single day, no matter what. Not 10 things, one, because consistency with one thing builds the psychological foundation for consistency with everything else. I want to end by talking about time, because time is the one resource you cannot earn back. Money can be made and lost and made again. Relationships can be broken and rebuilt. Health can be lost and sometimes recovered. But time only moves in one direction, and most people treat it like it is infinite. They say things like, "I will get serious when the timing is right, when the kids are older, when I have more money, when things calm down, when I feel ready." Let me tell you something. The timing will never be right. Things will never calm down. You will never feel completely ready. And every day you spend waiting is a day that someone else who is also scared and also unprepared is spending building something. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not filled with talent. It is not filled with luck. It is not filled with perfect circumstances. It is filled with time and consistent action taken in the absence of certainty. The people who change their lives are not the ones who waited until everything aligned. They are the ones who started while everything was misaligned and kept going anyway. There is a version of your future that is extraordinary, not because extraordinary things happen to you, but because you decided at some specific moment, maybe a moment like right now, to stop waiting and start moving. That moment can be right now. In fact, it should be right now. Your brain has been working against you. Your environment has been working against you. Your past has been working against you. And still, you are here, still watching, still searching, still trying to figure out how to become more than what you currently are. That means something. That means the part of you that wants more has not given up. Do not give up on that part. Feed it, protect it, build your life around it. Because that desire, that restlessness, that feeling that you are capable of more than what you are currently living, that is not arrogance, that is not delusion, that is your potential knocking on the door. The only question is whether you are going to open it. Close this video, not to escape, but to go do the one thing you have been putting off. Right now, this second. The war inside your mind ends the moment you decide to stop negotiating with your excuses.
Start now.